What's happening now across the Niagara frontier? News stories, old stories, stuff you know about and stuff you'd never believe. It's the Niagara Hub Soapbox with Craig Avery. We're ready to go. Wow. This man needs no introduction. My cousin, Vernon, right?
My uncle.
When we found out that we were related, it was just a relationship that started, and that's good.
Yes.
As you folks remember, Vernon was our first Soapbox, was our first interview.
That is right.
We had officially opened the doors as the Hub, and and you were doing work outside. You were shoveling.
That's correct.
And I said, Vernon, come on in here and talk to us.
That's right. You sure did, and it was a great time.
We had our boots on, and we talked.
That's right. We had a great conversation.
And as you know, Vernon James, the Saxman, and your career has blossomed,
wow.
and your education has blossomed, and we want to talk about that. So, Vernon, where have you been, man? Tell, you know what? There's a story I want you to tell, if you could. Before you came here.
Yeah.
And before you had your saxophone.
Right.
What were you doing?
Before I came here, I was born and raised in
Not here to the Hub, but here
the city.
To this area.
This area.
Yeah. A lot of people just want to come to the Hub.
Yeah. Well, it's a great place to sit and relax and check out the sceneries, the Hub. So get down here if you can.
Yeah. And that microphone is on, right?
Yeah.
We've done some the stuff that we haven't done as professional as when you're here.
Okay.
And we have left the microphone off. So you see this whole thing. So we do it black and white, and it looks like we intended to make it an old movie with no sounds. But, all right, microphone's on and you're rolling.
Oh yeah.
All right, so years ago, what year?
Years ago, I came back in 2002. Well, maybe 1999, December. My father had prostate cancer, and it was at its last stages, and I came here to take care of him. But prior to that, I couldn't even take care of myself. A year prior to that, coming back, I have no qualms of telling anybody, and it's probably best to put it out there so people will know that you can get up from where you at. That I was a crack cocaine addict for 18 long years. It wasn't a happy 18 years. It wasn't a joy. It was painful. It was sad because my parents didn't raise me to do that. They taught me better. I had a minister. My father was a minister. My mother was a missionary in a church. And they loved us all. It was 5 of us, and they really made sure we had morals and character so we would be good, productive people in society. But as you know, once you get away from home, it's up to you. And I made some bad choices. And one of the bad choices was I picked up a group of friends, and this is what they introduced me to, and it sent me down a world journey for 18 long years before, not myself, but before the good Lord could get me back on track. So
how'd you hook up with him?
Well, he
big connection, man.
He grew up with me. We lived next door to each other for all these years, and then finally, we go to the gym on Saturday mornings. And we'd come back to my house, and he'd shower, I'd eat.
No, I'm talking about the Lord. How'd you get hooked up with him?
Oh man,
that's the big connection. That's what I'm talking about. I thought, wait a second, where is this?
Okay,
next door.
Yeah, listen, he's never left me.
Been with you.
It was me dropping what my sinful nature and my thing, and going his way, and that happened under a bridge. The Manchester Bridge in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia. I'd always been taught about God and how God is real. And I tried to be good, to be like this one minister that, he's a minister now, this one man, and his name was Deacon Jesse Scott. Just tried to be just like him because he was an upstanding man in the Lord, and he's still going strong. He's a minister now in the city. And when he stood up and clapped, I clapped. When he talked, I talked. When he sang, I sang. But it was a point came in my life that I went a certain way, a different way than his. And what he had was real, and what I had was fake. And when the enemy can capture you alone from your help, your parents, or a sheep away from the flock, Oh, you a slaughter. You going to the slaughter.
So you're under a bridge.
I'm living under a bridge now for about 1 year and 6 months. Prior to that, I had been living in abandoned cars, abandoned houses, or even just sleeping on park benches. But you get tired of getting beat up. You sleeping on a park bench and you wake up, and you might have gotten a nice pair of sneakers from welfare, or they bought you this or they bought you that, social services, and they're a good pair of sneakers, and you go to sleep and you wake up, somebody's pounding on you and they taking your sneakers or a nice jacket. And these don't have to be, well, I'm a pretty older gentleman then, but I was like 49, 50 at the time, and these kids were like 16 or 17. But as you indulge in cocaine, the use of a drug, it saps your strength. It saps your will to live and survive. And you wake up, they taking your stuff, or either you wake up, your stuff is gone, and you just walking around bare feet in the community. And there's not many people willing to help these days. And that's what I want to do right now, give back. And give those that had the problem or having the problem. I need them to see that you can get up. You don't gotta stay there. My first connection was God, as you said, underneath a bridge. He came to me, but man, I cried out for mercy. I cried out, Lord, help me. There was scriptorial leading. I spoke out. The Lord, you said you created us in your image. And I said that to him out loud, screaming on the bridge. Do you look like this? At that time, I'm talking a little fast, but at that time I had wingworms, taddets in my head, cement bugs burrowed in my skin, sores from sleeping on the concrete under the bridge, and urine and feces on my body. And I said, Lord, do you look like this? In your word, you said we were created in your image. And I thought that would wake him up or something would happen. Nothing happened. I rolled over for about a half hour, came back, sat back up, and I said, Lord, you said you would never leave me or forsake me. That's what your word says. Well, I'm down here by myself. Now, these are the things my parents put in me, a Christian upbringing. And now, I'd always said I was with God, and I wasn't with nothing before this under the bridge incident.
Yeah, so you sat up.
Sat up, and the Lord, and I said, Lord, you said you was going to take care of me. And this is what the word says. Well, you got to get with God. He can't come and get with you. The program is you do this, Vernon, that, Vernon, and this is my word. It don't change for you. It don't change for the pastor. It don't change for the Pope. You line up, you got me. And that night, the Lord just came to me underneath that bridge, and he started showing me an image of some of the things I went through, that he never left me. He never forsake me. He showed me when I was in a dumpster eating from a place called Popeyes, eating chicken. The squirrels was in there. There was some rats in there, and I just held the food that was in there. Spoiled food, Lord bless it. Make it good nourishment and food for my soul. In Jesus' name I pray. And asked him to bless it so it didn't harm me. And he did. And then he told me about the saxophone. Well, the saxophone, he says, oh, it came down to the stem, and maybe you out there don't know what the stem is. The stem is something, you put a piece of crack cocaine on it, put your match to it, you fire to it, you light it, and you pull. And the Lord said, since you like putting things in your mouth, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to tell you where to go and get this saxophone. You take $49.99. Now, it's going to be in a different city. It was in Newport News. I was in Richmond, Virginia. Now, after going through this, I thought it was all hallucinogenic. It was just me hallucinating. But he gave me the name of the place.
You heard his voice.
And I heard his voice.
What did he sound like?
It was like, Vernon, this is what I want you to do.
Very calm.
Since you have asked me to forgive you, and you want to do the right thing, this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this. Since you like things, and you want to put things in your mouth, and you want to talk loud, this is what I want from you. I want you to go to Newport News, to this specific place, take $49.99 and you go learn the saxophone. He didn't tell me, and he says, don't get a teacher. Now I'm 47, 48 years old. Don't get a teacher. I'll teach you.
Where'd you get $49.99?
Because after I went to the mission, after that night, instead of going to the crack house 6 o'clock in the morning, I went downtown Richmond, Virginia, and went to a mission and asked for a bed. And they let me stay, and I slept for 2.5 or 3 days. Just woke up and eat, and then they let me shower, and then back to sleep. And they said, now after the 3rd day, you have to go to work. So you go to a temp agency. Oh. And the temp agency, you go and you make $25, $30, or $40 a day. They keep the money for you because they're not taking it from you, but They keep the money and save it for you, trying to help you get a savings, keep you on your feet. And I told them about the saxophone. After a week of just living there and going to work, I told them about the sax. And they said, well, we a mission, we could use a musician. And they asked me, had I ever played before? And I said, no. So I told them about what the Lord had told me. And they gave me some money to take a bus to Richmond, to Newport News, and I found the store. But I found the store in the phone book before I went, because see, I wanted to know the validity. Was I hallucinating over the drugs, or was this a reality? And when I saw it in the telephone book, I said, wow.
Man.
Wow.
What was the name of this book?
Oh, no.
Do you remember the name?
I know the name, but I don't want to say the name.
All right.
I don't want to say the name. And I went to the store, and when I got there to the store, it was a guy in there named Sunshine. First, it was a man behind the counter. Now, I still was kind of raggedy. I'd only been working maybe a week or two, and I still didn't have no clean, good clothes like you fellas. But I went there, and the guy says to me, I came to buy a saxophone. The Lord told me it's a saxophone in here for me. And he says to me, oh, I got a whole shelf of them. Yeah, come on. And he said, well, this one here is $700, on up to $3,000. And he said, I got some in the back, go $5,000. Those are Cadillacs, those are the Selmas. Top notch, top grade, top shelf, you call it in drinking.
He figured if God sent you could get a big buck for it.
I got it.
He got some connections high.
And the guy says, well, which one you want? Well, how much you want to spend? I said, well, is that the cheapest? What's the cheapest one you got? He said, well, $700. I said, well, he said, well, how much you want to spend? And now he's starting to get annoyed. I said, well, listen, this the cheapest one you got? He said, yes, it is. How much do you want to spend? I said, $49.99. And he said, get out my store. Get out my store now. You wasted my time. Get out the store before I call the police. And I started putting my head down. I said, but this the place. He said, you got one more second. And he picked up the phone. He said, get out. And as I was walking out the door, another man was coming in. And this guy behind the counter that had told me to get out said to him, Sunshine, listen, do you have any horns in the back under repair that you're working on? And he says, hey, I got a couple, but they really not all that good a shape, but they'll be going out maybe in a couple of days. And he told me to come back tomorrow. He says, come back tomorrow. I came back the next day. And I went in there and I said to the guy, I said, you got the horn? You got the horn? Now I'm happy. You got the horn? You got the horn? And he says, listen, let me tell you something. This horn is not in the price range you want. He says, I'm selling this one for parts. It costs $45. I said, no, that ain't the one. That's not the one. He says, well, this is the only one that I got finished. You want the horn or don't you? I came off my thought that the Lord had sent me. And I said, yes, I'll take it. And when we got to the counter, and he started writing up the book, $45. Then he put the tax on it. And it came to $49.99.
No way.
I knew I had it then.
Vernon.
I know that was, but that's just some of the things that happened in my life. There's a lot more That's been in my life.
So you got that.
I got that.
And you had to start to figure out
how to play. He had told me under the bridge, I'm going to teach you. Don't get a teacher. So I just kept it in my hand 6, 7, 8 months. No sound, no nothing. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know none of the keys where to press. But I was determined to play because he said he was going to do it. And if it didn't happen, it was because of me. A couple times I put it under the bed for a couple of weeks, but it couldn't rest. Vernon, get the horn out, play the horn. And I just couldn't play, and I just keep blowing. Nothing happened. But one day I said, I ain't gonna put this horn down. When I go to bed, I'm gonna sleep with it. When I go sit on the toilet, I'm gonna keep it in my hand. So I kept it with me. I just kept it with me everywhere in the case. It was many times people say, yo, bro, soul brother, play me a lick. Play me something in the park. I said, when you come back, he jogging by. When you come back, I'll have something. But when he come back, I'll be gone because I couldn't do nothing. But one day I was watching the Flintstones. And the commercial came on. And usually I watch the program, and the horn would be on the chair. And when the commercial come on, I pick it up and start playing it. And man, it's this one note, this one key in the back, closes a hole. And finally, through all of that, I closed that hole, and I blew. And it said, hey! I threw it, because it startled me so bad. That was my first sound.
Damn.
And I said, now how was he going to teach me? Because I picked it back up and I put my hand back where it was. I went, eh. And then when I did that, I started coming down and went, eh. Just bringing my fingers down. And he said, Vernon, now, how many church songs you know? And he's still talking to me quickly. I'm giving you it as quick as I can.
It's all right.
He's still talking to me. He says, Vernon, do you know the church songs? What you learned as a little boy? One of the songs we sung in the church was, "What a friend we have in Jesus." What a friend we have in Jesus. And that's what he said. Match it with the voice. Da 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 da. Now you learning songs. Any hymn book, just playing it, not reading. Just playing it, and then they started looking like W's. My fingers would go, or S, that's the motion I would get, a sensation, or a T. And that's the way I learned. So he gave me the alphabet, something you learn as a child, to play the horn. And that's how I learned to play and memorize music. There's been many times I go places, people said, I got over 300 or 400 songs in my head. And they say, well, where's the music? The sheet music. I said, there is none. They won't even let me on a cruise ship. Because of that reason, I tried to apply to many cruise ships, and they said, well, don't you read? And I say, no. And then they look at my videos on YouTube, and they say, well, how you doing all the songs? I said, they're in my head. No, you did a 4-hour show here. You got 4 hours worth of music in your memory? I said, yes.
That's why you got that hat like that. extra storage.
Extra storage. And I said, it's just, he gives me the sequence. He don't tell me it's A flat, C flat, or B or C. He'll just say, go to D, F, E, G, and take it back to turn around.
You learned it.
And I know where it's at.
And you have entertained many people.
Many
You've done.
people.
You were on America's Got Talent.
That's
you had
correct.
that audition. You're playing the Apollo Theater.
The Apollo Theater is coming up for the second time. It's coming up on Wednesday, April 17th at 7 o'clock. Now the show is at 7. New York City, the Apollo Theater Live. I went down there last September 29th and was a great hit. Great hit. We were supposed to go back February 1st, the first week in February, but Sandy. Remember Sandy? Sandy came up the coast, the big storm, for those that are observing and don't really know what Sandy is. And Sandy put everybody's plans back there on the East Coast. So we go on Wednesday, coming up on the 17th of April, and we're going down. My understanding is Alicia Keys is supposed to be the band leader. She's the band leader.
I love Alicia.
Alicia Keys. Gladys Knight is supposed to be there. And there were a lot of other important affiliates that are supposed to be there. And the first time I went and I went inside the Apollo and I saw Sammy Davis Jr., Michael Jackson, the Temptations, the Four Tops, all the stars that have been there and have performed on that stage. And at this time in my life, the Lord said, it's your turn.
That's right.
So here it is.
It's our turn, right? You come in with a partner like the Lord.
That's right.
Who's Sammy Davis Jr.? He's only got one eye, for crying out loud, right?
You can't lose. You can't lose.
Now look it. I am inspired. That was excellent.
Good.
I am so psyched you told that story.
Good,
We've talked to you about, would you mind doing this?
Yeah.
He certainly doesn't have to prepare to
That's
talk,
right.
as you can imagine.
No.
Right? There's no teleprompter with Vernon James.
Not at all. Not at all.
Even for the music.
Yes.
But now that we've had that short introduction on our 10-minute thing here, we really want to talk to you about your next accomplishment, which you did probably with your partner there,
Yes,
but
right.
also think about what you've just accomplished.
Yes.
What happened?
Okay. My next endeavor, and this didn't come to me. I was at home approximately 2 summers ago, and I was cutting the grass. The mailman came. He put the mail in the mailbox. And they brought out a little, Niagara Community Colleges put out a syllabus of what the school session is going to offer for the following September. And that goes in everybody's mailbox.
Right.
But it didn't come to mind for me. The one that they put in my mailbox was for the neighbor down in the next block. Well, it came to my house, and I was watching TV and I looked at it and started looking at it, and I saw it said Kidney Dialysis Technology Program. And I thought about it and I said, hey, I can afford to do that. And I got the knowledge to complete that course. And I said, wow. And I looked at it again and I called the college and they told me I had to come out and take this test. I went and took the test. Did well on the entrance exam, and I took the people, their pamphlet down the street. It had their name and their address on it, and it came to my house. And they let me in the program. And this is the certification showing you that I complete the program as a kidney dialysis technologist. This is something the good Lord is saying, hey, I'll make a way for you if you walk upright. I'll fix your life if you continue to work with me. So I'm very happy to show the world, and I am in the market for a job as a kidney technician. I'm looking at this particular time, and doors are opening, and you're missing out on a good person if you don't hire me.
That's right. That's right. Now, in this function, you would prepare and set people up for dialysis.
Yes.
Is that correct?
In this function, what I would do would be, we'll set them up. They come in, and it's a process when you first enter. You come in and you go do cannulation. Actually, stick the person in the arm. You would have vascular pull. The blood would come out the arm, go through a circulation of the machine. As it goes from the machine, it'll return back to the body. Now what you're doing is the machine is acting like kidneys. It's just purifying the kidneys of the human being, replacing the function of the old kidneys that are either obsolete or not functioning properly. So this is how man has created imitation kidneys by using a dialyzer.
And you're able to you're the front man to that patient. You
I'm the
make
front
them
man.
comfortable. Could you imagine? You have to go through dialysis. It's not a fun process.
Correct.
Well, you got this guy next to you telling
That's
the
right.
stories. Holy cow! If you think the story he just told he's just begun. You know?
Correct. We would have a ball.
That's
we would
right.
Have a great
When
time.
we used to play around at our family reunions and
yeah.
stuff, we
Yeah.
had some fun there.
That's
By the time
right.
You took
That's
off.
right. That's right.
But no, Vernon, I am so proud of you, man.
Listen,
and
thank you
think
very
of how you
much.
come. Niagara Community College, how cool is that? And that there's a perfect example of what they can do in
That's
the
right.
community. They
Change
they
your
got
whole
it out
life.
there. Yeah.
Niagara Community College changed my life.
All right.
This is a second chance as a professional, with a professional career, and at my age, and I'm appreciative of it. I had a great teacher, Natalie Roche, and they put you with the best of professors So, hey, everybody, check out Niagara Community College and see what fits you. This is our town. This is our city. Let's make it what it is.
There you go.
And we got great people here that has a great influence on everybody, like Mr. Craig Avery. All the opportunities that he's given me to just start. The shoveling snow, he didn't know that was my beginning again. Okay, this I can do, but he provided me with opportunity. And this opportunity to get and talk before the world that he's allowed me to have, and everybody else that he's allowed to get up. You can get busy, you can do this. In a stressful world that we in today, this is what we need. People that's willing to reach back and help somebody up. Mr. Craig Avery.
Well, I was going to stop you there for a while, but you were on a roll. That
Sounded
was good.
Huh?
That was real good.
But it's true.
Now, you also mentioned, though, today that you're excited. You're so excited about this education.
Yes.
You'd like to share it with some of your friends.
Yes.
Just to explain to them what this program's about and prepare them for maybe wanting to enroll in the same thing and do the same thing with you. Is that what you're thinking of doing?
Yes, I am.
Sharing this somehow, not as an instructor, but as a friend.
As a friend. I want to also just find people that's interested in moving on with their lives. If you're an older person, if you're a younger person, I want you to know that this here, I can explain it to you, show you some of the things, and while you're taking the course at the college, I can help go over things with you. And those, especially when you're 18, just coming out of high school, and you need an opportunity, this here will get you in the door. If you move from Niagara Falls to Alabama, we don't want you to leave Niagara Falls, but if you happen to have to leave, this will open the door for you. And that's what I want to do, give back and show you that you can make it too. So that's what I want to do with this.
That's cool. And he's got a pretty powerful partner, but
that's right.
He told me you share that partner.
That's right.
And I got him too.
You got some?
Somehow he told me, go talk to that guy shoveling the sidewalk because you're going to be good friends.
That was the greatest meeting, one of the greatest meetings in my lifetime. I mean, you just pulled up there and says, hey. You know Mr. Williamson? How long you know Mr. Williamson? I said, about 15 or 20 years. How would you like to help me out? I sure would. What do you like? What do you need? And you provided an opportunity for me, and you never let me down, and you've always been there for me when I call.
You're there for me.
I appreciate it, Craig.
Think of the benefits that you do, the enjoyment you give people with your music, and now with your inspirational words. Maybe we should have the Vernon James show maybe once a month.
That would be great.
You wouldn't run out of things to say.
No.
Once a month is only 12 shows.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got 12 stories.
Oh, and they keep coming.
That's right.
That's
right.
thing.
Well, our 10-minute thing went a half hour, but I'll bet you that people won't know the difference. They're going to say, "Man, that was a short half hour."
Yeah, yeah.
With no commercials.
No commercials. One other thing I want to say real quick. Niagara Hub has their number on availability. But if someone is interested in this and interested in knowing the Lord a little more, I'm going to give you my home phone number. It's 990-6405. Or the saxophone. If God is touching you and wants you to do something with it and you think so, I'll teach you that. I don't want the money. God is blessing me in my last days. He's enriching my life. But this is more important now that, for your mothers that have a son or a daughter that's just laying around the house. Get to me, and we can work something out. Get to me.
Price has probably gone up because things have gone up, so it's probably like $65 now.
That's it.
Right? Don't you
That's
think
right.
A little bit, because time has changed.
That's right.
You're the man. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, Craig.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right, man.
Thank you for the opportunity.